6 people were shot this morning at York Memorial Hospital, 10:35 a.m. from 10:35 a.m. to 11:13. So we're going to walk you through exactly what happened. He just broke down exactly the timeline of what had happened. This man, the suspect known as Diogenes Archangel Ortiz, was said to have shot at officers. He held people hostage. He came into the ICU area, which they are saying seemed to be targeted. They are trying to figure out what exactly his motive was. They do say 3 officers were hit, 3 medical personnel were also hit. So 6 people in total have been shot. Again, this is earlier today at about 10:35 this morning. You're looking at some of the video from earlier today as this all unfolded. The governor, of course, addressed the media as well. He said, "Today we saw the very best and very worst of humanity." He talked about the courage and bravery by healthcare workers and law enforcement. He said, of course, they run towards danger to keep others safe, and that's exactly what happened earlier today. We do know 5 people were treated at WellSpan York Hospital. Everyone is in stable condition at this time, aside from, as we've said, the shooter, Diogenes Archangel Ortiz, who is said to be dead, and also the officer, Andrew Duarte from West York Borough. He has also been killed. We've learned more about the officer who has died. He had been a police officer for more than 6 years, according to his LinkedIn. He spent 5 years with the Denver Police Department in Denver, Colorado, before becoming an officer in West York. He began working at West York only 3 years ago, so he had only been on the force since June of 2022. He received his bachelor's degree in criminal justice, political science from Penn West, California, and Western Pennsylvania. So obviously our thoughts and prayers are with Officer Duarte's family and, of course, the entire West York Borough Police Department. Fox 43's Tyler Poglish has been on the scene for several hours now, and he's joining us live. Tyler, if you can, just walk us through what exactly you saw and what you experienced from the moment you got there today.
Yeah, Amy, at around 11:15, 11:30 this morning when I arrived here at the hospital, I was making my way up Roosevelt Ave, where there was just a heavy police presence all over the place, where there was people inside of the parking lot or fire police directing traffic that was making its way through the area. At that point, I made my way over to OSS's parking lot, where I got just a general overview of the entire area, and there was just an overwhelming amount of police officers here at the scene, and it's just been an ongoing scene all day long. It's been a very eerie feeling here at the hospital with everything going on, and like we've mentioned, we heard the news of the officer who passed away just about 2 hours ago when we learned that while we were on air, and it just brought more tragic news from today's events. This is still such a very ongoing scene, and we're here behind the hospital right now where there's less of a police presence here, but Governor Josh Shapiro was right here behind us giving that press conference just a few moments ago, and we'll continue to keep you updated as we gather more information, which is going to be coming out in the next several days on today's events.
All right, Tyler, thank you so much. We appreciate your reporting. Again, we can bring you the very latest, what we just heard from that press conference. We are going to go to Fox 43's Sydney Nauman in just a moment, who was inside attending the press conference. She's going to keep us updated on the very latest there. But again, we heard from District Attorney Timothy Barker on their ongoing investigation. He says 6 people total were shot, 3 medical personnel and 3 law enforcement officers. This happened between 10:35 a.m. and 11:13 when the suspect, Diogenes Archangel Ortiz, entered UPMC Hospital. He had a bag with him, they said, that had at least 1 gun. One doctor, he shot 1 doctor and a nurse and a custodian. They are all said to be in stable condition. They said a 4th individual fell, but they said was not hit by firearm. Many agencies, of course, responded. This was a big group effort. Again, 3 officers were hit, 1 from Northern York County Regional, 1 from Springettsbury Township. Again, both of those officers are said to be in stable condition. Andrew Duarte from West York Borough, was in fact killed. The governor talked about how today was just an awful, tragic situation, one that you never want to hear about or see in your own community, but we do, and we do hear about this and see it. He said we've seen the very best and the very worst of humanity. He talked a lot about the courage and the bravery by those healthcare workers who were, forced to run towards the danger. We do know that he apparently had someone, he was holding them hostage. So it just really sounds like one of the most terrifying experiences for those workers. Again, we are learning new details by the hour. Of course, we're going to keep you updated. We do want to talk with Sydney Nauman if she is, working on getting to us. But again, this was at UPMC Memorial Hospital. We did have a statement from WellSpan York Hospital. They said that they received 5 of those patients from this incident. 6 people total were shot. They talked about the emergency department evaluating those members and that they weren't really able to share more details, but they are working, of course, to give us more information as soon as they can. We do know Andrew Duarte, the officer from West York Borough who was killed, was on the police force for not very long. We looked at his LinkedIn page, and according to his profile, he had been a police officer for more than 6 years, obviously very young still in his career. He had spent 5 years with the Denver Police Department before becoming an officer in West York. We do know that he was awarded, this is also on his LinkedIn, he worked as a patrol and DUI DRE enforcement officer. He highlighted a couple of awards as well on there. He was the top student award for outstanding academic achievement when he completed drug recognition expert school, and one from Mothers Against Drunk Driving again in 2021. So this is an officer who took his job very seriously, and he will be deeply missed. I know the governor mentioned just how awful something like this is and how incredible it is to see the community come together and really be there for one another. And that is exactly what we are going to need to do here in York County. As we continue to learn more about the shooting, Diogenes Archangel Ortiz is said to be the suspect who is now dead, but that he had shot at officers and held at least one person hostage. Many agencies, again, responded to this. 3 officers were hit. Northern York County Regional Police, Springettsbury Township, 1 officer from each of those units was hit. They are said to be in stable condition. Again, that is good news. They talked about the employees. I know the District Attorney, Timothy Barker, talked about the employees, saying they could really use our help and support at this time. Put yourself in their shoes. Imagine what they experienced and what they went through, and we really need to come together as a community. They mentioned that as well. All right, so we are going to go over this one more time for you. Again, this all started at about 10:35 a.m. this morning when Diogenes Archangel Ortiz entered the hospital with a bag and a gun. And zip ties. He apparently used those zip ties to tie people up. At least one person he held hostage at one point. 3 officers were hit by him. Northern York County Regional, Springettsbury Township, both had officers that were hit. They are said to be in stable condition right now. Andrew Duarte was the officer from West York Borough Police who was shot and killed. Again, he is said to be only on that force for about 3 years now. He joined in June of 2022. Earlier today, we heard from the district attorney in York County, and he talked about what exactly went on and how it is important now as a community to come together to support the law enforcement officers who were impacted. He talked about how, getting over an event like this and experiencing something like this is not going to go away anytime soon. He said it's a process, and as everyone comes together, they're going to rebuild and regroup. And right now, this is what we know. We know that a 4th individual also was hurt, apparently had fallen, but again, 6 people shot total. So 6 people, 3 medical personnel, and 3 law enforcement. Every one of them, except for 1, is said to be in stable condition at this time. Again, this is an ongoing investigation, but the situation is now over. Fox 43's Cindy Nauman was at a press conference with the governor just about 20 minutes ago. She is joining us now with the very latest. And I know, Cindy, you can probably update us a little bit more on what exactly the governor and the DA had to say.
Yeah, Amy, the governor spoke about the commitment and bravery of officers both at the hospital who charged into the situation to help out, as well as local officers from multiple municipalities. Now, the Attorney General said this is the first time they've had to have a press conference of this magnitude in approximately 27 years. So the hearts were heavy, definitely, at this press conference today. What we know right now is the shooter has been identified as Diogenes Archangel Ortiz. Further information about where he's from and motive have not been released at this time, as this is an ongoing investigation. What they do know is between 10:35 this morning and 11:13, Archangel Ortiz entered the hospital with a bag with a handgun and zip ties. Upon arriving to the ICU, he held members of the UPMC staff hostage, holding them at gunpoint. In the incident, 3 members of UPMC staff and 3 officers were struck, causing them to be transported to hospital for care. They have since been updated as they are in stable condition. And as of right now, we do know that the shooter has been killed and the hospital is back in safety. That's all that was shared during the press conference. This is an ongoing investigation, and more information will be released as that is released to the public.
All right, Sydney, thank you so much. Do we still have Fox 43's Tyler Poglish? Okay. All right. Well, Sydney, we appreciate your report. Thank you so much. We'll check back in with you in a little bit.